Say. That's it. Let's second. The Gottesche Master Mitzvah.
Hi, my name is Esther Borchov. I'm 20 years old. I live with my mother and two little sisters in Bat Yam, not far from Tel Aviv. My father died when I was 2 years old in a motorcycle accident, and I felt him all over this day. I joined to the IDF Army in June 2023 after studying 2 years engineer of machines. After the party, the army let me go and I started my life.
Hi, I'm Shir Zohar. I'm 21 years old. Esther and I have been best friends since high school. We do everything together, including sharing our hopes and dreams for our future.
Me and Shir are not huge party goers, but it was an event that we knew was going to be incredible, so we decided to go. I drove on my mom's car, Skoda Jeep. We got to the party parking lot in Reim at about 4 a.m. Everybody was warm and friendly. The vibe was peace and love. So many different nationalities. We danced for an hour, and I had a colorful tattoo done on my left arm. In 6 a.m., we decided to go back to the car to change our clothes, to take some cigarettes, took picture when the sun about to come up to remember the special moment. We did it. On our way back to the party, we saw tons of missiles in the sky. At first, I didn't realize what happened. You know, in Israel, it's not really unusual. I understood we are not safe, and we're very close to Gaza. I felt fear. Everybody was on the ground, panicked. My mom calls me to get back home right now. I knew we have to do it immediately because it might be traffic in the way. We start driving. After about 10 minutes, I saw 5 men wearing IDF uniforms and green handbands blocking the road. I knew in the first minute that they were terrorists. They start shooting at everybody. I shouted on Shir, terrorist shooting at us. She wasn't connected to the situation. The 2 cars in front of us drove back to the party. I made a split-second decision to put my foot on the gas and race right through them. The windshield having been hit a lot. All the bullets get inside the car and didn't hurt us. That was one of our miracles. I don't know why, but I couldn't see nothing. The windshield was smoky. I told Shir I can't drive like this. Shir screamed, keep going, but the second I did, another car ran into us. I yelled to Shir, let's get out of here. At this point, I realized we have to go out now. We later found out that 5 minutes later, terrorists stole my car and took it to Gaza. We thought at this point the danger was behind us. We didn't realize what a major attack this was going to be.
We start walking down the highway and saw a group of old Arabs workers who were shot, bleeding on the road. They told us to stay there and hide with them. I looked at them and thought about it for a second. Esther said, no way, there might be terrorists too. We kept walking until we saw 3 cars on the road in a straight circle. Between those cars were a few boys who were trying to calm us down. Which one of them was Ori Arad, a 22 years old boy who was bartender at this festival, our hero. Got back into his car, spoke to his dad, said to him that he is living here and there is no way he's staying here. I asked him if we could join him. He said, of course, join in, and even told to give us a bottle of water, and said, don't worry, girls, you're gonna get out of here, that's my promise. I sat on the floor of the car, Esther sat on the back seat. I pulled her down to hide. After we drove a few minutes, Ori said, don't be stressed, there is gonna be shoots now. another gang started shooting at us. And that's what really happened. Ori ran over two terrorists, non-stop shooting. Ori lost control of the car. We flipped over 3 times. I saw Esther flipped in the car. We landed in a ditch in the side of the road. Esther was not next to me anymore. I could only see her legs, and the rest of the body was in the trunk. I looked at Ori and saw all the bullets through him. I didn't feel nothing. I just checked all over my body that I'm not bleeding too. Right away pulled Esther's body next to me, and the next thing we know, there is shots all over the trunk. I pinched Esther to realize if she is awake because I saw her head is bleeding. A few seconds later, I heard a total chaos above me. On the road, at least 30 Arabs were screaming at each other, terrorists. Esther woke up. She understood she can't make any noise. Ori woke up, looked at Esther, smiled, and turned on the volume, the radio on top volume. The terrorists came again at 8 a.m. and make sure Ori is dead and didn't tell us. That was one of our miracles too. At this point, we're hearing on the radio that the terrorist has been kidnapped people and soldiers. When we are in the car, that was our biggest fear, to be raped, to be taken by Hamas terrorists. Every few seconds, Esther and I pinch each other's legs. That was our sign that everything is okay.
We just prayed that no one should see us. I couldn't feel my legs after the accident. I was sure they had to amputate them to get me out of the car. But I didn't care because all I wanted was to get home alive. I knew that it is what going to happen. I just felt it in all my heart. I talked to God and knew He will get us home safely. Until 11 a.m., we tried to call people quietly. Shir called her mother to tell her she loves her, that this is the end. I couldn't do it. It did not feel like the right time. 15 minutes later, I heard voices in Hebrew. I lifted my head a little and saw 2 police cars. Only later, we learned that these cars were shot through and nobody there was alive. But at this time, it made me feel a little bit safer. I saw the field next to the ditch start catching fire. I knew I have to convince Shir get out of the car because I couldn't feel my body at all. I told Shir I'd push open the door, which was above my head, with my hands, and she should climb out over me and get help. It took me 20 minutes to convince her to do it. She told me that if she doesn't come back in the next 20 minutes, she'd been killed.
I got out of the car and started running and running until I saw a group of soldiers and just fell on the ground. They took me to a safety place. After 5 minutes, I remembered that Esther is still in the car. And I have to go back right now. They didn't listen to me, but there is no way I would leave her there. I started shouting at them, there is a live girl in this car and I know where she is. They took me back. I saw a lot of bodies in the way and burning cars in the way. I couldn't find her in this chaos. I also asked them to find Ori. They say to me a sentence I will never forget. Who lives, lives, and who is dead is already dead.
Every minute after she get out felt like an hour. I realized I couldn't stay there alone. It was my biggest fear. I looked at Ori's body and couldn't stay there. My only option was to roll out of the car door on the side near to the fire. I said to myself, that if I'm not dead until now, God is with me, and that if He had saved me so far, I wouldn't get burned in the fire. So that's what happened. I fell out of the door, rolled on the fire ditch, and picked myself with strength I didn't know I had. I saw in front of me soldiers on the road. I started waving with my hands and screaming at them to help me. I understood the suspicions of the soldiers not come to me. Maybe I'm sort of ambush, maybe I have a bomb on me. They told me that if I need help, I need to come towards them. I told them that I can't feel nothing and I can't feel my body at all. After a few minutes that we argument, they finally came to help me and they said we must get moving right now. I said to them that it's no way. I have way to share to my friend. I don't know where she is, but she's around. I'm not living without her. 5 minutes later, I saw Shir came with a car with 4 soldiers. I just felt completed in this second.
So they took me back. I found her. They took us to a shelter in Sderot, but we saw a huge chaos in there. I couldn't stay there. I saw a short soldier, and I decided I'm not leaving him no matter what also. He said to us he's getting married this month, in the 7th October. 2 minutes later, an ambulance came and took us to the hospital.
We got to the hospital and the doctor said that everything is okay, go back home. The way was close to home because there was still terrorists running outside. We slept one night in Ashkelon with my family. We came home later and I waited for my body to get back to itself. I didn't let myself to complain. How I can do it when there is people I never get a chance get home after this terrible day. Until now, there is still 125 kidnapped people in Hamas, in Gaza. We need to bring them back. The big guilt I have couldn't let me do it. I tried to be thankful as much possible I could. 3 days later, my mother insists on taking me to the hospital. She saw I'm not feel good, and lucky to hear her, we go to the hospital again. They took another x-ray and said that the vertebra above the tailbone is broken, and it's a miracle I'm still walking. That I need surgery immediately, as if left I could be paralyzed from my legs and down. I had a successful surgery. All my independence was gone more than a week. It was a very difficult time for me because it's not who I am. But still, trying to appreciate the fact I'm alive and standing. Both Shir and I are trying to return to life, to understand that every day is a gift and that we were saved by unusual and crazy miracles. We discovered strange we never knew we had and a drive to survive. We support each other on difficult days because you can't know in which mood you will wake up tomorrow. Today, she is trying to rebuild her life and religion gives her amazing flash of light. I'm converting. I'm in the middle of the way.
Good. Wow.
I thank God every moment that I'm still here. I probably have something to do in this world. One of the things is to remember our hero all the time. We visit the family of our angel Ori Arad all the time. We would prefer to not have got to know each other by this situation, but they are the strongest and the most amazing people we have ever met, and they will be our family forever. That's because of them, to keep alive the name of Ori Arad, that we are sharing our story here today, every day. We thank God for the powers He gave us and still giving us to go through the situation. We want to honor the memory of Ori Arad. We are grateful we have each other. Remember that name, Ori Arad.
Remember this face, this beautiful face.
Because of him, we could speak here today.